Welcome back to day 2 of parabolas. In day 1, we were given the equation of a parabola. From there, we found different parts of the parabola and we were able to graph it. Well, today we're actually going to reverse that process. We were given different parts of the parabola today, and now we have to find the equation. Before we get started, I wanted to remind you of something. When you're in a y equals, you'll know that the parabola will either open up or down depending on the positive or negative value of a. X equals will open us right or left. And finally, the a equals 1 over 4p is something we're going to use today, so keep that one in mind too. A equals 1 over 4p. Okay, let's get started by graphing the information we have. Find the equation of the parabola given the vertex at 0, 0. Let's plot the 0, 0. And also we have the focus at 0, 3. So there's our focus. Here's our vertex. What's the distance between those? Because when we find that, that will be our value of p. It looks like p is 3. Now, because the focus is always inside the parabola, can you tell me which way this parabola is going to open? You would be correct if you said it opens up. So that means if it opens up, we are in a y equals. Now remember that formula I was talking about, that 1 over 4p for a? We're going to use that. We're going to use that to find 1 over 4. Go ahead and put the 3 in there. And we now know that a is going to be 1 over 12. And it's positive, it opens up. There we go. And do we have any h or k in the problem? We do, but they're both 0. Our h and k are 0. So that means we're going to finish this off with x squared. And that right there is our answer. Okay, example 2. We're giving the vertex of 0, 0. Go ahead and plot that 0, 0. And I'm ready to plot my focus at negative 10, 0. However, I'm going to go off the chart if I try to plot that negative 10. So I'm going to have to do this in intervals of, well, let's just go with 2's. So 2, 4, 6, 8 is how that's going to work. And so let's go ahead and now we can plot this at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So our focus is going to be negative 10, 0. And we know because the focus ends inside, which way is this going to open up? We know it's going to open to the left. So anything opening right and left puts us automatically in the x equals. Because it's left, it's going to be negative. We know that much for sure. Let's go ahead and find our p. Our p is going to be 10. So what do we have here? We have a equals 1 over 4. And again, we think our p is 10. Technically, it's a negative 10. We don't really need it because we already know it opens left. So we already put our negative up there. But just for the sake of technicalities here, that's how it would play out. 1 over negative 40. And we have the negative from before, so we're going to leave the negative right there. And 0, 0 is our vertex, so we don't have an h or a k. Y squared is the end of that problem. So x equals negative 1 over 40 y squared. Example 3. Go ahead and plot this 0, 0. And now we were given a directrix, and the directrix is at negative 6. So let me draw a line here at negative 6. And if this is the focus and that's the directrix, our distance is 6. Our distance from here to the focus is also going to be 6. So which way is this going to open up? If the focus is always in front, and here's my focus right there, the focus is always inside the parabola, then let's go ahead and draw a parabola. And now we can see that this is going to open up to the right. So it's going to be positive. Our p is going to be positive. So 1 over, well, let's figure it out. A equals 1 over 4 times 6, which is 1 over 24. So 1 over 24. And do I have an h and a k? I do, but they're 0, 0. So that means that I'm just going to finish this off with a y squared. We don't put the zeros in the problem. Okay, so that's the answer. Next problem, here we go. -2, -3 for the vertex and the directrix x equals 4. All right, so the vertex is off center this time, -2, -3. There we go. The directrix y equals 4 means that it's going to be a horizontal line at the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And what's our p-value going to be this time? Let's take a look at that. Our p-value is going to be 7. How do we know that? Because we're up 1, 2, 3, 4 and down 1, 2, 3. So p equals 7. Which way do you think this is going to open if this is the focus right here? I'm sorry, that's the vertex right there. If that's the vertex, which way is it going to open? Let me make that a little bit better for you. Hold on a second. There we go. All right, so if I have this -2, -3 right here, and that's the vertex, let's give ourselves an example of what that parabola has to do. Well, it has to go away from the directrix, so it's going to have to open down, because it has to go away from that line of the directrix. It's in the opposite direction. So we know we're in a y equals, but this is a negative. It's a negative value now because it's opening down. Let's figure out a. A equals 1 over 4 times 7. So 1 over 28. That's our a. And we are off center now. So we do have an h and a k in the problem. Back up here on the vertex, -2, -3 means that we have to go ahead and put an h and a k in the problem. So let's go ahead and do that. X minus, and our h goes right in here. What's our h going to be? H is the -2. So that means that our h will be a +2 because it always goes out as the opposite sign. And then that -3 stays exactly the way it is. So that -3 for our k is going to stay a -3. And so there you have your answer. Y equals -1 over 28 times x plus 2 squared minus 3. Next example. -2, -5. Here we go. I'm going to plot that -2, -5, and that is our vertex. And our focus, just to be sure, is 1, -5. So look at your paper and make sure you have a 1, -5. If not, go ahead and do so and make it a 1, -5. Okay, so we're going to plot the focus 1, -5 right here. So there's our focus. And which way is this going to open? It is going to open to the right. There we go. And so I know we're in an x equals. I know that it's positive. Now the reason why you have this particular example is you might think, oh, we've done so many like this, but this one's going to be a little bit different, so pay attention. Let's figure out our a first. We know our p. Our p is 1, 2, 3. So our p is 3. Which means that we have 1 over 3 times the 4 for our a, or 1 over 12. All right, so we know it's 1/12. And we know that it's positive because it opens to the right. But here is where you have to be careful on this next part. We know we have parentheses, squared. What goes inside here, x or y? Well, if x is leading, we need the other variable, so we need the y. We need the y. Which one of these is the y? The -2 or the -5? You'd be right if you said the -5. That is our k. So we're going to actually put the opposite sign and put a +5 in there. But notice how these are switching spots. H and K are switching spots. The K now is inside and the H is on the outside. So be aware of that and make a note that the H and the K are switched right here. You might want to make a note of that because that's going to be very important. And if you're going to make a mistake on any test or quiz, I'm going to guess that that would be the place you would make your mistake. So be aware of that. Last example, -3, -4 for the focus. We don't have a vertex. We have a focus and a directrix. All right, that means the vertex in between the two, right? Let's find out where it's at. Let's just graph this and see what we got. Focus, -3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's our focus. And our directrix is going to be a line that is vertical through the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to draw a line that's vertical here. All right, pretend that's straight. Okay, so if the focus and the directrix are equal distance from the vertex, where is our vertex going to be? Let's think about that. Our vertex is going to be halfway through that. So where are we at here? Here we're at a -3, and here we're at a 5. Do you know a formula that you just learned that you can use called the midpoint formula? So -3 plus 5 cut in half would equal 2/2, and it looks like the vertex is going to sit on that 1 right here. There's your vertex. All right, so which way is this going to open? It's definitely going to open to the left. It's going to open to the left, and so that's going to be an x equals, right? X equals. And let's go ahead and find our A. A equals, now how many do we have between the focus and the vertex? Be very aware of what you're doing here. And so we have this distance right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1/4 times 4 gives me 16. 1/16. And it's opening to the left, so that's a negative. That's a -16. And now I just gave you a word of caution about how to handle these x equals. So I'm going to have y here. And what goes with this y? Once again, it's that -4. So -4 now becomes the inside the parentheses or the quantity. And on the outside, we keep that at -3. So again, these are reversed, the -4 and the -3. Let's wrap this up, see what we have. Start by graphing the information you're given. Finding p allows you to find the value of a, so use your 1/4p. And remember, very important, when you're in an x equals, your vertex is reversed. H and k are actually switched, so when you go to write your ordered pair, make sure you put it in the order of H, K. Well, thanks for joining me today. We'll talk real soon.